Okay, so this is the Hart 5-tier plastic shelf. It has total 5 shelves and each shelf has 100 lbs capacity, which means you can total hold 500 lbs capacity. I'm going to show you the complete video of assembly and setup of this whole thing. So please you can continue watching this. It will hopefully help you if you have any troubles. In all the parts you can see the 5 shelves, then these rods, and then this kind of separator, this kind of stuff, right? And there are a lot of parts here and you need like a scissor to separate them. So what that means is, notice how I am separating them. You are supposed to separate all of these parts one by one. The way I am doing it. And this one you have to throw away. But these are all the parts, right? So you can see each one has, this one has 4 parts. You are supposed to remove the 4 parts. 4 parts from here, 4 parts from here, and 4 parts from here. So let me show you one, so that you can actually figure out what it is like. Cut and okay. So you can see how I am separating all the parts. That's the way you are supposed to separate all the parts one by one. So I'm going to remove all these things and show it to you. Okay, so you can see after removing this stuff, you will essentially find some small pieces like this and this 4 stuff here, from which you have removed everything, and you are supposed to get 4 of these things and these 2 as well. I'll tell you a little bit more. These are the actual shelves. Now these are used to actually connect the shelf to the wall anchors. So once you make the shelf, right, you can essentially connect it to a wall that it doesn't tip over and fall down. These are essentially tip over protection used to connect it to the wall. So we are obviously going to do it at the end once the whole thing is ready. So I am going to keep it on the side for now. Additionally, if you notice this, these are special connectors. If you don't want to make a big 5-level shelf, you can essentially make a 2-level shelves, right? And they are standing right next to each other, and you can use these 4 connectors, the rectangle ones, so that they are both attached to one another. So essentially they are kind of used. So imagine 2 shelves are standing and you can essentially use this to kind of attach each other. So once again, we are going to make a single shelf, so we don't really need it right now, these 4, but you have an option if you want. You can buy another 5-level shelf as well and attach both of them together. So the square ones are going to be on this side, and we essentially need all the 3 that we are going to start with. Okay, so if you see the ones with the full top cover, these are caps. They are going to be on the top at the end. So for now we are going to keep them on the side. We are going to start with this ones, right? Notice these are essentially the foot. You are supposed to take one of these, and notice the threading here, right? The threading is supposed to go inside this cap here, and you are supposed to rotate and get the threading in. Now it might be initially a little bit difficult, and the reason for this is because you have essentially cut them, right, with a scissor. So it might not be exactly. So let me just cut it a small piece over here just to be safe here. But essentially what I did was, notice this here, this threading is supposed to go in this, the bigger part is supposed to be at the bottom, right? So the threading is supposed to go in here. If you come here, you can see you might have to apply a little bit of force initially to make sure that the threading goes in. So let's try it again a little bit. Okay, fine, here's good. Okay, so it looks like there is this thing that we cut, it's not cut properly, so you might have to cut it away. Okay, let us try with a different one, right? So this one went easily, let's try this one. Okay, now it is going in. The different one it went in. Okay, now there are a lot of things about these turns, right? If your floor is uneven, you can essentially use this to balance the shelf. That is why this is like almost like, rotatable, and you can make it come outside or inside. For now I'm going to put it almost inside, and I'm going to continue and do this for all the other two caps as well. Okay, now the one that did not go in, the problem was that when I cut it, there was still a small stub left of the connector. And this was not possible to cut with my scissors because they are more like a kitchen scissors and not like normal pointy scissors. So I have this something really pointy to cut stuff, and I'm going to use this to remove the cutout the stub, right? So that it can go inside smoothly. Notice how I'm essentially cutting it the last part of the stub here. So you do need to do this. So this is a little bit tricky because they have not cut it cut out for you, right? I'm also going to do a cutout for here. I am cutting out all the stubs everywhere. So essentially, now that this stub is cut off, now if I want to put it inside, I might need to arrange it a little bit, but overall it should just go inside. Notice how it is going in. Now it is going in much more smoothly. And now essentially all the four of them are connected. This is the top part of the shelf, and this is the bottom part. So what you should do is, you should place this four here, and we are going to start by putting this in. Once again, cutting out stuff would really help in this case. Notice what I am doing, I am essentially arranging them right on top of the holes. And now the final one here. Okay, now you have to just press it a little bit. Apply, you can notice how it went in a little bit. You are supposed to do it everywhere. Yep, it went in. Yeah, and the final one here. And you might need to press it everywhere. Now the bottom shelf is ready. Next you want to take this and note this connector, right? Notice it is slightly indented part, and then there is this big part. The indented part is supposed to actually just go inside like this. Okay, needs to press it, you should hear a click. You'll have to apply a lot of force. Once again, I want you to notice this is the bigger part, and there's like a small indented part. Indented part is supposed to be at the bottom down like this. So this part should go in and press it a little bit. You want them all pressed very in so that they are all aligned. You don't want to be unaligned in an unaligned situation. Yeah, this is very important. So yeah, same. I'm going to emphasize again. You can stand up as well and apply pressure. You want them to be in completely, otherwise it will be unstable and it won't be aligned properly. And then you are going to connect the next level of shelves. Okay, next what we are going to do is we are going to take this. One thing to notice, I am not really changing the way it is faced, right? So I am not doing it like this. You want it in one direction only. So notice these squares here are horizontal, rectangles they are horizontal. So you want to keep it that way. You want to make sure that they continue to stay in the horizontal level, right? You can just arrange everything a little bit. Okay. You can see, notice how I press it in, and it is going in. Once again, notice when I press it first time it did not go in. So you have to stand up and apply a lot of pressure. It is going in a little bit. If you don't do this, do it a few times, then it won't go in properly, and then the whole thing will be unbalanced. And then you won't be able to figure out what was the problem. So definitely recommend to do it every level. Just press it a few times. And don't just put extra time here so that you don't have to do anything extra later on. Once again, this time very simple. You are taking these pillars and the part which is slightly smaller. The slightly smaller part is going at the bottom inside. Like this. And you are going to do this again for every level. Okay, let me see again. Okay, it went in. Okay, now next I'm going to show you how to connect two levels if you want to create two separate ones. Okay, so okay, we are going to put this again here. Okay, once again very similar. Align the whole thing and then just have to press it. Notice when I pressed it a second time, that's when it went in properly. Once everyone was on a little bit, so you want to definitely do this. You can pressure it. Now let's assume, right, you have two different levels, right? Let's say you have two shelves. You could potentially use this by doing something like this. What is this here? Imagine you had two different shelves here. You could just plug this thing in and connect these two by putting this here. Or you can also do it here, right next to each other by doing this. So these are the ones that I told you about, which you can connect if you have two shelves. So you can buy two sets of these and you can have two shelves connected right next to each other, which will make sure that it's a lot more stable and it would be also be easy because there are like slots as well in between. So you can use the rectangle ones to connect two different slots or two different ones right next to each other. You can do it at each level. You can do it here, here or here, whichever way you are connecting. So you do have this option. Once again you want to now plug this thing in, similar to what we did previously. If it doesn't go in, you might rotate it a little bit initially, and then once you put all the four in, once again you have to put a lot of pressure to make sure it is in completely. Even after it went in, when I press it, sometimes it still goes in a little bit. So it's very important that you do it so it's in completely. Okay, see, notice it, this one went inside again. I can actually feel it. In a second turn. Okay, this one went in a little bit. Okay, this one went in more. Now we are going to put the, once again this level here. We are making it even bigger. Okay. Yes. Okay. Once again, take the time to press it in completely. Very important to press it in from every side. Okay, now for the next level, I'm using a step tool to climb up. You don't need it, but it's just because I'm doing a video, it's just very helpful for the video. Push it in. And two more. If it doesn't go in, maybe just rotate a little bit, that is really helping. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. Once again, the slightly indented pad, which is slightly smaller, goes at the bottom. Notice how it's not going, I just rotate it a little bit and that really helps. Once again, very important. Climb up and press it. Now for the final level. Okay, it is going in. Okay, it went in. Now applying a lot of force here. Here. Going back and applying force again to also here. Okay, you can see how it went in. Okay, now the shelf is ready, and next comes the part of connecting it to the wall. So what you want to do is you want to take these two, and if this was the wall, right, you want to just plug this thing in here and then connect it to the wall using the screws. So what this will do is it will make sure it doesn't tip over. So it's like a nice protection that they have provided. And it doesn't have to go in all the way. It really depends on how far your wall is. It's just that it's not to keep it tight, but just to keep it in place so it doesn't fall down. But overall, very very easy to make. One thing I would definitely recommend is like that, cut this properly using something really sharp. Next are the caps here, the 4 caps. Okay, you want to go to the top and start putting them over here. So right above the poles you want to use and put the caps in. That is how the caps in completely inside. Okay, you have to apply a little bit of force for the cap. So I will have to come in the front. Just use your like hand, press it in. And now this whole thing is ready, and all that you have to do is you can put it anywhere you want, and at the end you have these 4 connectors remaining along with these 2 to tie to the wall. I need to move everything in my garage to make space to put this shelf. So for now I am not really going to connect this, but I am going to definitely connect this because I have a small daughter. So I really want to make sure it doesn't tip over. So definitely. But the rule of the thumb is, even after you connect this connector, make sure the heavy stuff is at the bottom and lighter stuff is at the top. So as long as you follow the rule, the chances of tipping over are even less, and using this is just for extra safety. Yeah, so it definitely feels solid and nice. It's easy to move as well. And once connected to the wall, it will be very sturdy, and based on the weight specification they have given, it feels nice. Definitely it's not like cheap plastic, it's really nice and sturdy. So overall happy with it. Okay, thank you.